Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping into some really interesting source material you've shared today. It's all about creativity and inspiration, and it comes from something called Redefined Imagineify. So our mission, really, for this deep dive is to unpack what this Redefined Imagineify stuff actually says about what sparks imagination, what gets creative thinking going.
hmm
And we're digging into the specific points from this material, not just general ideas.
And what's interesting, I think, is that these sources don't just give a list. They seem to offer more of a,
A framework, okay?
yeah, for understanding how all these different inputs fuel the creative output. It makes
Mm.
you look beyond the usual suspects.
Right, exactly. So looking at your material, where does Redefine Imagineify start? It seems like environments and experiences are pretty key, but maybe specific kinds.
Yes, exactly. The sources really highlight that. It's not just about being somewhere, like, nice.
Hmm.
It's more about environments that disrupt your routine or maybe offer new sensory stuff. Correct. For instance, Redefine Imagineify. It specifically points to
Liminal spaces. What, waiting rooms? Airports?
yeah, exactly. Like airport terminals, train stations, those sorts of in-between places.
Hmm.
Surprisingly powerful, the sources suggest.
Huh, why?
Well, the argument is that because you don't have your usual routines there, your mind is freer. It can wander, make connections you wouldn't normally make.
That's fascinating. So less about a quiet study, more about breaking the pattern.
Precisely.
What about something like nature? Does Redefine Imagineify talk about that? Seems like a classic inspiration source.
It does, yeah. The source links nature to inspiration through something it calls,
Effortless attention.
yeah, like the kind you use when you're just watching waves or clouds or leaves.
Yeah.
You're paying attention, but it doesn't feel like hard work.
Right, I get that.
And according to Redefine Imagineify, that relaxed state actually reduces mental fatigue. It opens up space, cognitive space, for imaginative thinking.
So we've got the deliberate disruption of these liminal spaces and then the kind of relaxed openness from being in nature, both framed by the sorts as environmental triggers.
Mm-hmm. Key triggers.
What other creative fuel does Redefine Imagineify point to in your material?
Well, a big chunk focuses on input from other creative works, books, movies, art.
Standard stuff.
Well, yes and no. It's not just about passively consuming them. Redefine Imagineify brings up this idea of narrative cross-pollination.
Narrative cross-pollination. That sounds academic, but interesting. What does the source mean?
It basically suggests actively looking for stories, visual styles from really different areas.
How so? Give me an example.
Maybe reading some dense sci-fi
Yeah.
and then immediately going to look at, I don't know, Renaissance art.
Ah, okay. Big contrast.
Right. The source thinks that forcing your brain to deal with these really different forms and ideas, it creates new pathways,
Hmm.
new insights that you just wouldn't get if you stayed within one genre or one type of art.
So it's the clash, the collision of different creative ideas that's actually productive.
Exactly.
It's not just about appreciating something great, it's about using it, like raw material, mixing and matching to spark something totally new.
Precisely. Redefine Imagineify really pushes that active engagement. It frames creativity less pulling something out of thin air
Right.
and more like a process, synthesis, transformation. But it needs rich, varied inputs to work.
That really changes how you might think about watching a movie or reading a book. It's not just downtime.